Welcome back to the social science class, class 9, geography, chapter 2, physical features of India. The topics which are covered in this chapter are the introduction of the physical features, major physiographical division of India like Himalayan mountains, northern plains, peninsular plateau, the Indian desert, the coastal plains, and the island groups. Beside that, we will study that how these diverse physical features useful for India. So let us start with the introduction. India is a vast country with varied landforms which has all major physical features of the earth like mountains, plains, deserts, plateaus, and island groups. How these physical features are formed. There are some theories behind the formation of these physical features. One such theory is the theory of plate tectonics. As we all know that the crust of the earth, which is made up of various types of rocks, is either stable nor permanent. The form of Earth's crust is continually changing, even though quite gradually. There are two types of forces which are working on the Earth's crust. Those are endogenic forces and exogenic forces. Endogenic forces are those forces which have their origin deep down in the Earth's interior. And exogenic forces are those forces. These are connected with the atmosphere and consequently and external to the earth. The earth's crust is floating on semi-molten rocks of asthenosphere. Radioactive decay in the interior of the earth proceeds heat, which escapes towards the surface, producing convection currents in the molten rock. These rising currents tear the crust apart, dividing it into large fragments called tectonic or lithospheric plates. This theory of plate tectonic. This theory explained that the upper part of the earth, called crust, it has been divided into 7 major and some minor plates which are called as tectonic plates. The word tectonic has come from the Greek word meaning builder. The plate tectonic theory states that the outer solid lithosphere is made up of several plates, and due to the high temperature and pressure below the crust produces a trace of melting which allow the plates to move on this layer. As we did in the audio tape class, that we have the 7 major tectonic plates. Let me repeat, those 7 major tectonic plates are the Pacific plate, the North American plate, the South American plate, the Eurasian plate, the African plate, the Indo-Australian plate, and the Antarctic plate. The movement of these plates can be divided into 3 types boundary. Those are convergent boundary, divergent boundary, and transform boundary. What are convergent boundary? The plates which when move towards each other, causing one to go under the other or causing plates to collide forming mountains, such type of movement of the plates is called convergent boundary. Divergent boundary, it is the plate when they move apart from each other, leaving a gap between them which gets filled with the molten rock which oozes from below the crust. third form is the transform boundary. When plates slide past each other, scraping and deforming as they pass, this type of movement is called transform boundary. Continental drift of plates, which is seen here from the last millions of years ago. As it has been informed you earlier that previously, near about 250 million years ago, this complete landmass was a single landmass named as Pangaea. This Pangaea was having two different parts, that is the northern part and the southern part. The northern part was named as Liguria and the southern part was named as Gondwana land. Laurasia, it's Laurasia. Laurasia or the Gondwana land. Laurasia could be also called as an Angara land. As you can see, after the passing of the time, these plates drifted from each other and they split into different plates. And in the last you can see the present situation of these continents, as the 7 major continents have been formed: North America, South America, Africa, Europe, Asia, Australia and Antarctica. The movements of the plates along with the process such as weathering, erosion and deposits have changed the position and size of the continents over millions of years and also responsible for the evolution of present landform features of India. The oldest landmass, that is a peninsular part of India, was the part of Gondwana land. Now, what is Gondwana land? There was a time when India, Australia, South Africa, South America and Antarctica were one single landmass which were known as Gondwana land. And the upper part, as I told you, it has the 3 major continents, that is the North America, Europe and Asia, which was named as an Angara land or Laurasia land. Due to this drift, the formation of Himalayas occurred. About 220 million years ago, India was a part of an ancient supercontinent called the Gondwana land. This vast landmass included the present-day South America, Africa, Australia and Antarctica. It was located in the southern hemisphere. The convection currents of the mantle fractured it into a number of pieces. The Indo-Australian plate, after getting separated from the Gondwana land, drifted slowly towards north. It collided with the much larger Eurasian plate. The northern edge of the Indo-Australian plate was pushed beneath the Eurasian plate. Under the impact of this collision, the sedimentary rocks of the enclosed ocean were folded to form the mountain system of Central Asia, including the Himalayas. As here you did, that due to this collision, the sedimentary rocks which were accumulated in the geosyncline. Geosyncline is a narrow, shallow, elongated basin with a sinking bottom in which a considerable thickness of sediments were deposited. These sediments were brought by whom? By the rivers which were coming from the northern part, that is the Angara land, as well as from the southern part, that was the Gondwana land, and that water body was called as Tith. So, due to the formation of Himalayas, Ultimately, there was the formation of plains also. To the south of the Himalayas, a basin or the depression was formed. It was gradually filled with the alluvium which was brought by the rivers from the north and south. The North Indian plain was thus born between the Himalayas and the peninsular plateau. This also led to the formation of Arabian Sea. When the Himalayas were being formed, two major events affected the plateaus. An extensive volcanic eruption took place in the northwestern part of the plateau. Beside the western part of the plateau subsided, the Indian Ocean advanced to occupy this depression, and thus the Arabian Sea was formed. Because of this subsidence, the Western Ghats became prominent. So, geologically, the peninsular plateau are the most stable land blocks, as it was one of the ancient land masses on the Earth's surface. The Himalayas and the northern plains are the most recent landforms. The Himalayan mountains form an unstable zone as it has very youthful topography with high peaks, deep valleys, and fast flowing rivers. Now let's move to the next topic of the chapter, that is the major physiographical divisions of India. Here we will study the six major physiographical divisions of India. Those are the Himalayan mountains, the northern plains, the peninsular plateau, the Indian desert, the coastal plains, as well as the island groups. On this map, you can see the physiographic division of India, and the sixth physiographic division of India, which is marked here. That is, number 1 is showing the northern mountain area, number 2 is showing the northern plain area, number 3 is showing the desert area, which is also named as an Thar desert, number 4 is showing the peninsular plateau region, and number 5 is coastal plains, which could be again subdivided into two types of coastal plains, that is the western coastal plain and the eastern coastal plain, and number 6 is presenting the two island groups of India, that is on one side it is Andaman and Nicobar, and on the other side it is Lakshadweep. Now let us describe these various physical divisions in detail. As the first one, the Himalayan mountains. The Himalayan mountains is geologically young and structurally folded mountains which run along the northern borders of India. The ranges run from west, from Indus to east direction to the Brahmaputra, covering a distance of about 2,400 kilometers, representing loftiest peaks in the world. The width of this mountain is from 400 kilometers in Kashmir to 150 kilometers in the eastern side of India, that is in Arunachal Pradesh. The altitude is the height variation greater in the eastern half than those in the western half. The longitudinal division of Himalayas could be done into three parts. Those are named as Himadri, Himachal, and Shivaliks. Himadris are also called as the Greater Himalayas or the Inner Himalayas. Number 2, Himachal is also named as the Lesser Himalayas, and number 3 is the Shivalik ranges. The Greater Himalayas, the Greater or the Inner Himalayas of the mountains. It is the northernmost range and most continuous range, consisting of the loftiest peaks with an average height of 6,000 meters. It contains all the famous peaks. The folds are asymmetrical in the nature, that is, not at all similar in the nature. The basic part of this Himalayas is composed of granite, and it is perennially snow-bound, and a number of glaciers descend from this range. Perennial means always the water is present in the river, as the Himalayan mountain rivers are referred as the perennial river because they have the water whole of the year in them, because the water supply in this river is from the snow covered or the ice covered mountains. So these rivers are known as the perennial rivers. The second range of the Himalayas, that is the Lesser Himalayas or Himachal. It lies south of the Himadri and forms the most rugged mountain system. It is mainly composed of highly compressed and alternated rocks. The height varies between 3,700 and 4,500 meters, and the average width of this range is 50 kilometers. Longest and the most important ranges here are Pir Panjal range and Dhauladhar, as well as the Mahabharata ranges. The famous valley of this range are the Kashmir Valley, the Kangra Valley, and the Kullu Valley in the Himachal Pradesh. Also, this range is famous for its hill stations. The third range comes the Shivaliks. This is the outermost range of the Himalayas. They extend over a width of 10 to 50 kilometers and have a height varying between 900 and 1100 meters. It is composed of unconsolidated sediments brought down by rivers from the main Himalayan ranges. These valleys are covered with thick gravels and alluvium. The longitudinal valley lying between Lesser Himalaya and the Shivaliks are known as dunes. And further, these dunes, which are named as Dehradun, Kotli Dune, and Patli Dune, are some of the well-known dunes.